Hello and welcome to the March 2019 Sunshine Summit. My name is Heather and I am your host. I am the host of a podcast called Sunshine and Power Cuts, and this week, in association with Geeks Rising, we bring to you a week of live streams to recognize and celebrate connections. This is day 7 of the Sunshine Summit. We've been going live for the past 6 days. A huge thank you to everyone who's been able to make the live streams, whether you've been in the chat or watching it, or if you've been able to catch the replays. If you've missed us live, you can check out the replays on the past events tab at sunshinesummit.live. And today it is with a grateful heart that I am joined by 2 amazing Kiwi podcasters, Dean and Nath from Regen Racing. Welcome to the Sunshine Summit. Hey guys, welcome. You're on.
Hello.
G'day.
So
happy to be here.
That's awesome. Thank you for being here today. We have Bandrew in the live chat, and I just want to say that is where our connection came from right off the bat. Bandrew's the host of Podcastage, which is a tech and gear review channel on YouTube, and I happened to be following a Twitter thread and saw that Regen Racing, this podcast, had tweeted about a microphone choice option that they were looking at, and checked out your profile and found that you were from New Zealand, and I was super, super excited to find another New Zealand podcaster.
Yeah, I think it was the Samsung Q2U, but obviously I went with the MXL 770, and I know Bandrew's not going to be happy with that because it's not a dynamic microphone, but I really do enjoy all of his quirks in his videos. I think that's what drew me to his channel, and the Discord, obviously, where I ran into you, Heather, repping the Samsung Q2U.
Q2U hype? I just had to do that. I'm sorry.
That's all right, yeah.
Yeah. He said that the cult almost grew a bit more, haha. But yeah, I'm glad that you've got a mic and you're happy with it. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah.
I earlier we were chatting about the throwing the box. Let's see what comes in the box. And it goes and hits stuff, and stuff falls off, and it's just crazy. It's good. It's good.
And you get a dang sticker.
Yeah, I do get a sticker. We've got stickers.
Look at that. Today,
Maybe I should send Bandrew a sticker.
Yeah. I'm not sure how, but yeah. It is amazing to have you both here. You have both launched Regen Racing, and that has come about from your passion for e-racing. And I'm not sure how many people are familiar with that, but it is electric car racing.
It is. Nath, I'll let you explain it. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a very new form of motorsport. The easiest way I find to explain to people is it's essentially there's one main league at the moment, one main kind of discipline, which is Formula E, which is essentially Formula One but with electric cars.
Yeah.
And so it's a constantly evolving sport. Every season there's massive advances in technology and resources and money being poured into it. So it's a very exciting time to be involved in that. And from that main kind of electric car series, there's all sorts of new weird and wonderful series cropping up all over the place and being proposed. So it's it's a very exciting time to be involved in a new and emerging industry, really.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And you two have a connection with each other, which is how you discovered that you both have a connection to e-racing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I talk about Formula E and Formula One constantly, and so podcasting's kind of, for me, is a way to chat to just anyone that will talk to me, really. And
it's very hard to find people in your normal life who can like geek out about this stuff.
It is like if you just say, hey, do you listen or watch Formula One or Formula E, the response is, oh, why would you watch that? Or no, I've never seen it, or what's that? So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I know Nath did as well. So I actually didn't know that he watched it until I started talking to him about it, and it sort of grew from there. Yeah.
But we're also related. Dean married my sister, so
Yep. So
Yeah.
he has to put up with me.
That's awesome that you get along, that you're connected that way through family, and that you have this passion for this sport, and you're able to share that through the podcast and connect with other people who are interested in it. And you launched it last year in 2018, is that right?
Yeah. I think it was May, wasn't it?
Yeah, halfway through a season
Okay.
of Formula E, which
Yeah.
I suppose we were just so keen to get something out there that we didn't really think about, what's the optimal time to launch it and what are we going to cover. It was just right, let's do this.
Well, yeah, my sort of thinking was, well, part of it was that I couldn't wait, but part of it was also, hey, when season 5 comes around, which is the new season, which started in December, we'd actually be half decent at doing this. So it was a bit of a struggle at the start with all of the. I had a blue, blue snowball, and I didn't know what I was doing with the editing, and it's a bit more polished now. So don't listen to episode 1.
We didn't really do any test episodes, did we?
No, we just I think we did 1.
Yeah.
But that was about it, yeah.
It was like, oh, yep, we know what we're doing. Straight into it.
Yep, we know.
At least you have the passion for what it is. The technical side of creating audio and a podcast is different. It's a huge learning journey, and I don't know that you ever quite perfect it just the way you want. It's like this lifelong thing if you want it to be. Other people get help and get someone else to edit it for them, but you are taking on that role, Dean. You're doing the editing.
Yes, that's right. It's it was a bit more of a challenge than it is now. I've got all my presets set up in Reaper and using some isotope stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better.
Yeah.
It went from a very basic editing in Audacity to very, very quickly it's got beyond what I can follow.
Yeah. I like the chat. Try and fail is always the best way to learn anyway. Yeah. It is. It is. We should have probably done a few more episodes that were test episodes, but I just wanted to talk about it.
And
people seem to listen to them, so
there you go.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
we're doing something right.
You made it happen. I think that's the best thing, rather than trying to worry about too much the technical stuff and not even launching off the ground in the first place. And like you said, you had hoped to get better by the next season that was coming up, or the one recently. So everything that you do along the way is going to help you grow and learn more and craft, hone the craft, I feel like. And I'm excited for you. And the thing with what you're covering, though, it is in seasons. So there's kind of like a bit of a break between when you can cover things and talk about them on the podcast.
Yeah, that's quite nice, actually.
Cool.
Not to have to be, I guess, when you watch races and the practice sessions, you're writing notes, you're thinking about what you can talk about, what's the recent news. There's quite a bit of researching that goes into an episode. And as a listener, I didn't know what went into it. I just thought, hey, turn the mic on, done, one and done. But it's a mission sometimes.
We did try and do quite a few episodes between seasons this last year, didn't we? But you very quickly, because we're over here in New Zealand and a lot of the stuff's happening over in Europe, we very quickly just become kind of a recycler of news.
Okay.
So I think things will be constantly changing and evolving and figuring out what works and what doesn't. And
so while you're watching, do you take a lot of notes and things, and then keep a break of the news? Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's I'm just going to watch it, and then I'll watch it again, and stop it at specific points and talk about the main happenings in the races and the qualifying, etc. So
it's a tricky thing, because you got 24 people in a 45-minute race, all doing their own thing. So there's I don't know how commentators do it in any sport to keep track of people. but you kind of throughout the race, there's always certain highlights and lowlights for other people.
And plenty of lowlights,
Yeah.
It seems with these races, because it's such close racing, you do get a lot of carnage. It's just built into. It's either because of the track, because they only race on street tracks, so there is no circuits like Spa-Francorchamps or Monza, or there's no nice open racetracks. It's all pretty confined street tracks.
There's no grass berms on the side. It's just a very hard wall.
Yeah. So margin for error is quite small. Which makes it exciting.
That's a connection that's not ideal technically, but adds to the interest or entertainment. I don't know what to call that. That's just
I'd say entertainment.
Yeah.
What? So Banjo has asked, what led to the interest in e-racing? Did it all start with Formula One motorsport?
Yeah, for me, I used to watch Bathurst with my dad, who has went over there and a big Greg Murphy fan, if you know who that is. And I watched a bit of rally when I was younger, but I've only really got back into Formula One in the past few years. I was a big Arsenal football fan. Soccer, football, depends where you're from. And I just sort of fell out of love with it. And really, this is pretty much the only sport that I watch now. So, Formula One and Formula E.
Yeah, I was just browsing through some TV channels one day and came across it, Formula E, a couple of years ago, and hadn't really watched a whole lot of motorsport, or actually followed motorsport closely before that. And then at the time it was something so new and radical, and the cars still looked somewhat home built now when you look at them, and everything was a bit more budget and low key, and so it was just the almost the hilariousness factor which kept me watching for the first couple of races, and then you actually start to get involved and get sucked in.
Can I ask a noob question? Are the races 45 minutes long because they're electric cars?
Can I answer this one, Dean?
Yeah, you can answer this one. I'll let you just go for it. Yeah,
it's season 5 now, and they've just started in a completely new car, redesigned from the ground up. Previously, I suppose this is really what got me into it. The cars they had couldn't last a whole race, so halfway through the race, instead of doing a pit stop to change tires, they'd do a pit stop to change cars. So they'd pull in and then have to jump out and jump in the next car and then carry on, which was just hilarious to watch, because you'd get guys tripping over and knocking the seat belts off, and steering wheels going flying, and it was great. So anyway, in this series they've done away with the car swaps, and in this season, they've done away with the car swaps, but they're still limited to battery life. So that's where the 45 minutes comes from.
Yeah. That intrigues me from my point of view, because my podcast is Sunshine and Power Cuts. I live off the grid, so I rely on batteries for power, and I'm totally aware of whatever your consumption of power usage is, and it determines how long they last for. And just e-racing seems like it would be a huge power consumption, and I don't even know the technicality of the batteries behind the e-cars, but yeah.
There's a lot of very smart people working on it, and with having to constantly monitor temperatures. And so when they did a race in Saudi Arabia this year in the middle of the desert, and so battery temperatures were just a critical issue, and you can't go as fast as you want all the time because your car won't last that long.
And I think Santiago as well, they had a few problems. So, heat is an issue.
Yeah. I think that it makes the whole element of the race very different and interesting. And, Banjo asked, do all the main car manufacturers build the electric cars, or is it homemade style cars?
Homemade style cars, I love that. So there is so the chassis is standard. So all of the teams have a stock chassis, and a lot of the components are the same. They can change a few things. I think the main things, though, is the powertrain and the software. So all of the different teams have different software that they run on power output and braking and regeneration of energy. So the cars, when they brake, they regain energy from the motor, essentially spinning backwards, which is interesting. There are quite a few massive manufacturers in this series already. One of the main ones would be Audi, Jaguar. You've got BMW, Mahindra, DS, which I think is a subsidiary or related to Citroen, Venturi. One of the privateer teams, Virgin Racing. So that is Virgin Airlines. What's his name? Richard Branson. So he owns a team.
Wow.
So
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
What doesn't he own? I'm sorry.
What doesn't he own? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So there's also a Chinese team, Neo, and the Japanese team, Nissan. So some massive manufacturers. And also next season, Mercedes and Porsche will be entering.
Wow. And so because you said it's like mainly based overseas, do we have a New Zealand team?
No, but we have a New Zealand driver.
Okay.
I'll let you go with it, Nath.
Cool.
Yes. This is really awkward because now I'm on the spot, and now I've just Mitch Evans. Yes, I did remember his name. I didn't have to think about that for a second.
Well, unfortunately, this is live, and you can't cut it out.
Yeah, sorry, there's no
editing. This is like a normal podcast where we're like, all right, we'll just cut that bit out and start again. Anyway, so Mitch Evans, yes, we've got a Kiwi driver driving for Jaguar, which is very exciting, and it's more so exciting because he's actually doing quite well as well.
Good, that is awesome.
Yeah. So it's nice to actually, it's a connection in some ways because you feel connected to him because you can identify with him. Yeah. I'm sure he's got no clue who we are and why would he? But it's we always cheer for him pretty hard.
That's awesome.
Well, there's a French driver called Tom Dillman who drives for Neo, and we have back and forths every now and then on liking each other's posts and. Cool. Me wishing him luck, and he hasn't got any points yet, or I think he's got one or 2 points. But yeah, there's not a lot of interaction we can do with the drivers from here, but we have a few journalists come on and they talk to the drivers and a bit more knowledgeable than us and help us out with that sort of thing. So
yeah,
Bandrew likes how we say Jaguar. We don't have an accent, you guys do. And not
that's the thing.
Not us here. I mean them in the chat.
So Jaguar or Jaguar. I'm thinking about it now. So it's probably not very organic. So
the way that you cheer them on in that, is that through Twitter? What way are you connecting with them? How are you sharing that cheering, or is it just through the podcast? Or
so Twitter. Is the main one, but there's also something called Fan Boost, which is a interesting concept from Formula E. So there's a website that has all of the drivers that you can vote for, and it gives them an extra 25 kilowatts of power throughout the race that they can sort of push a button, get the power. And this season it's the top 6, so it's sort of a popularity contest through Twitter and the website. And we of course only vote for Mitch Evans and Tom Dillman and Pascal Verline. And there's a lot of drivers that used to always get it.
Okay.
Just due to their social following and potentially there's a lot of people in the Audi factory. But it's not so set in stone, the people that are going to be getting the fan boost at the moment.
So it's just really a way to design to build engagement between drivers and teams and fans, and try and get their hype teams going.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's an amazing way to do it.
Yeah. It's I suppose a lot of the things that are being done in Formula E at the start seem quite cheesy in a way, but it's very progressive and doing things that you wouldn't see in a normal racing series.
Yeah. I think the whole thing with the technology that's involved in the cars and then the technology that they're using to make that engagement happen, and that engagement has an impact on the power that they can use, I think that's just mind-boggling. That's incredible. And Bandra agrees, that's super interesting.
Is it fair that...
I suppose it just widens the race, really. It's not just what happens from the start line to the checkered flag anymore. It's so much else. And
yeah, I think it's tricky getting engagement with anything, and maybe it's that way of enticing people to do it. As podcasters, sometimes it can be hard to get people to listen to your episode, and it's hard being in a sea of other podcasts to listen to, for example. But if there's some element of it that people can connect with and engage with, that's, and it may not be fair if people have super large followings, but like you said, if more people become aware of that and get on board with it, it could change the tide, and it could change who ends up getting that fan boost at the end.
Yeah. So we want Mitch Evans to get it.
So everyone in the live chat has to vote for Mitch Evans.
So yeah, everyone in the live chat needs to vote for Mitch Evans next week. Let's see if we can get him a few more votes.
That'd be awesome. On your podcast, you've had some guests, or at least a guest that I can think of, which was Sophie Barker. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. So I think you weren't available for that one, Nath, and I still wanted to. There was a lot going on at the time. There was heaps of news, and so I decided, hey, I want to try and get someone on. So yeah, Sophie she's a journalist for Formula E Zone.
Okay.
And yeah, that was a really cool interview. Very, very interesting. With the insight that she has, because she's actually talked to the drivers.
Yeah.
And had a lot more interaction than we do from here, because she's over in the UK.
Okay.
Also recently, Chris Soulsby from Motorsport Monday, and he's a journalist as well, and does a magazine.
Where is he based?
He's based in Oxford, England as well.
Yeah.
So we seem to get quite a few people. I don't know if it's the accent, but we seem to get quite a few people from the UK coming on. And also Toby Blum from Germany, although he's probably got better English than I do. And yeah, he also writes for Formula E Zone. So we've been blessed with the amount of people that have just wanted to come on the show, share the knowledge, and by doing that, we might have picked up some more people listening, but it's been really beneficial for our knowledge as well.
Yeah, it's been really amazing, actually, having these people who have been going to the races, and you talk to them the weekend before they were in Morocco at the race, and talking to the drivers, and they've got the inside scoop on everything that's happening, and all the drama going on, but yet they still take the time to talk to us, get up ridiculously early, or talk to these two random guys over on the other side of the world. And so that's been really cool. It just it makes the whole industry and the whole network really seem a whole lot smaller and tighter. You're already two steps removed from all the action that's going on. So that makes everything a whole lot more accessible.
So you follow these publications or things that these people are doing, and then did you just reach out and ask them for the interviews? How did that work?
A couple of them asked me, which
cool.
It's really cool having, you check your Twitter DMs and oh, this person wants to come on the show, and then you look up what they do and a bit more about them, and they'd be better than us at describing what goes on in these weekends. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really cool that I've had people asking to come on the show.
Yeah.
So
we haven't turned down anyone yet, have we?
No. yeah,
I think that's incredible that they're discovering or they know of you, and I'm guessing that would be from your interaction with the things that they're doing and how you're interacting in places for them to know of you and send you a message.
yeah. I think Reddit, Twitter,
Cool.
Formula E Discord. To be honest, I'll just talk with anyone about it. So I'm all over that. I don't know about you, Nath, if you've had any chats with people about it. But
I've had lots of awkward chats with people trying to explain what Formula E is and all the intricacies, and yeah, I'm just out there trying to get the word on the street going.
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. And so we are great. Like I'm pretty grateful that we have the internet and Appearing and things to make this happen, because you guys are in the South Island. I'm up here, and I did manage to get to meet Dean in person. So I've met half of your podcast in person, which is incredible, because that doesn't usually happen. I don't even know how many New Zealand podcasters there are. But just to have that connection and to have met you in person was amazing. So thank you for doing that. And I'm so glad that we have this vehicle today for being able to pun vehicle, get it? Sorry. I'll see myself out to do this. And you've been able to use that also to connect with these people in the UK. Amazing.
Yeah, it's been really cool. And yeah, I was in Wellington for a work trip, and it just happened to work out. So that wasn't deliberate either. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Really, really cool to actually be able to sit down with someone. It's not a thing that you find often. So,
do you know anyone else, Dean, in person who podcasts?
I know a lot of people that listen to podcasts. I don't actually know anyone else.
Maybe there's just secret podcasters who don't want to share their work.
Yeah, well, I mean, the blind's closed behind me. I'm sort of podcasting now, just in the office. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty out there. It's just a matter of finding the connections, really.
Yeah. And so that's why I was grateful when I saw it. And I like it how you've got it in like the profile on your Twitter thing, so I could discover that you're from New Zealand, because I could have just got excited about the Q2U, because I get hung up on the Q2U because that's what I have. Yeah. But to see that you're from New Zealand and connect on that level, because like you said, we have that sort of understanding of where we're coming from, and we're passionate about this thing that is podcasting, that allows us to be creative and to connect and engage with people and share our passions. And then you've connected with some things like Transistor FM. Is that what it's called, to host your podcast?
Yeah. So that is our awesome hosting company.
Yeah.
So John and Justin, they have a podcast as well, and it's sort of a bootstrapping idea from them. So they have quite a few podcasts now. Oh, cool. I think in the start it was just the one large podcast that they were hosting, but they've really grown now. It's quite a breadth of podcasts that they've got on their platform.
Cool.
Really helpful. It's easy. It's intuitive.
Publishes to everywhere.
It publishes to everywhere. Don't even have to lift a finger, really. Once you upload it, it's out there. It just automatically goes everywhere. So once that's set up, it's pretty easy it's pretty easy now.
That's cool. And you've also had sort of some design changes with your artwork, and you made some cool connections. The current artwork was a New Zealand artist.
Yeah, that one was through Reddit.
Yep.
Yeah, which was a bit random. I'm on the podcasting and podcast Reddit, and there was this person just posting, "Hey, I'm keen to do any logos," and I thought, okay, sweet, I'll see how it goes. So and they just happened to be from New Zealand as well.
Yeah. So you came up with the original idea. Who came up with the original idea for your sort of concept for the artwork for Regen Racing?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I came up with the idea of it, but this designer with the arrow, it was sort of based around. There's a sort of well, I shouldn't call it a gimmick, but it's to do with cars. It's sort of Mario Kart mode where you get a power boost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's called attack mode, and there's these arrows that are on the racetrack, and if they're normally offline of where you would normally be racing,
Mm-hmm.
and if you go through that, you get an extra power boost. It's about, I think it's 50 kilowatts or another 25 kilowatts of energy, which you have to use it a couple of times in the race. And so for this one, we wanted the arrow, and we sort of wanted markings around like tracks or road markings.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a bit of a method to the madness on this logo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm really thankful. Yeah, her name's Pip, at make_designs. So
yeah,
go and check out her work.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that it connects so closely to what you're doing. It's very difficult sometimes to get an image or a logo to represent what you're doing, but also that you manage to find someone local, because that doesn't always happen. A lot of people are abroad, and then there's the time delays and trying to connect with them that way to get it done. But she was also quite understanding, and you said pretty prompt at getting back to you, and a good communicator in that. So that's amazing.
It took like 2 days to get it absolutely perfect. I was quite blown away, actually, that I mean, I didn't know exactly what I wanted, but after you see it, you sort of, I mean, I couldn't really dream of it. How was it? Oh, there. Yeah. No, she did a really good job.
That's awesome. And what is your sort of plan going forward? Like, you've got the next season starting soon, is that right? Or it started?
Yeah, so the season it's sort of December to July.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're about halfway through almost. Yeah.
Yeah, halfway through. Okay. Sorry, I got confused there. And
no,
you're editing an episode at the moment for it. You've also decided to take on another project, Dean, and you've got Either or Neither.
Yeah, so this one's just a bit of a fun one. I decided I wanted to do something that wasn't racing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this other one will probably only be a monthly project, just due to the time it'll take. But so it's a choice, A or B, or a Would You Rather podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like getting to know people, getting to know what they like, what they don't like, and so this was probably the easiest way to do it, and it's a podcast, so it doesn't really cost anything to get it up and going, and just see if people like it.
And you put the questions out there and you invite them to engage with it on Twitter, for example. And you had the very first episode is on audio.
It is. How original. Yes. Yeah. I just thought, well, there's some of the questions are based around things that happen, like, would you rather have a dog barking or would you rather a bagpiper? Which both of those, they both suck.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of it's just what's happening around here, and
you got bagpipers?
Yeah, we got this. The wind has to be going the right way, but he's not too far away from us.
Oh man!
If any of you out there play the bagpipes, just don't practice, please. Yeah.
I think it would depend on how good they are. Is this person not so good, or is it just their sound that grates on you in general?
Oh, they're fine. They're fine. It's just, I
feel like with bagpipers, we're going really off script here. But I feel like with bagpipers, one song is enough, and after that, they all seem to sound the same.
Yeah, it just kind of. I mean, it's not a droning sound, but it's so high and just. There's just something that gets on your nerves with it. Anyway.
Apologies to bagpipers out there watching this. Bandrew has all the questions. Right. What type of dog would it be?
What type of dog would it be?
Are there dog barks that are more annoying than others?
Well, yeah. I guess you get your yappy little chihuahuas and I don't know,
The big
Pomeranian,
woof,
and
woof.
then you get your big German Shepherds and collies and whatever.
Is there a cacophony of noise because you live in a city or you don't live terribly rural?
Well, it's meant to be rural, but
Okay.
it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd have to come here and see. Like, there's a like paddocks about 500 meters away, but it is there's so many houses.
Yeah. We have farm dogs
Yeah.
and they incessantly bark out here in the countryside where
Yeah.
I am. So, yeah.
Yep.
And what's the bagpiper playing? So you said about like one song and then they start to sound the same.
Oh, I've got no idea. Yeah.
I
It's
have
not like you can Shazam it and find out what he's playing, which would be interesting. So
Wouldn't that?
someone can get on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be some amazing technology there to take the bagpipe song. I think that's a great way of engaging people. How are you've got a Facebook page, just going back to Regen Racing for Regen E-Racing for the podcast there. Have you got a Discord for it? Are you going to set one of those up, or is there any other place? Maybe.
At the moment, I don't think it's probably there is a Formula E Discord where I think people would be more interested in. Yeah.
And if you're
So
a part
not
of if you're a part of that one, you can engage with everyone who's in there, and then it may pop up what do you do or something, and you can share perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think we kind of touched on this week about making authentic connections, and you being a part of those communities and offering value and supporting the races and things like that that's the authentic, genuine connection and value that you offer to those communities. And then that leads to them being excited and interested to talk to you on your show.
Yeah, I think what we bring, and I'm sure that you'll agree with this, Nath, is that we don't know everything. We're not journalists. We don't go to these races. We don't have much interaction with the drivers, but we're just really passionate about it and we love it. And I hope that comes across to the listeners. Yeah.
I think
and if that helps by us being completely uneducated on some things and making wild guesses, and if someone wants to correct us, then they'll please come on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think that the passion is what probably rings through, and that's amazing. It's always good when people cheer you on. Like, it's great having people in the live chat today asking questions and interacting with us. And so keep being passionate about it and keep talking about it and keep sharing it. And I hope that more people discover your podcast to learn about it, because it's so interesting. It is unique and it is crazy detailed, and I think there's like a whole lot of money that goes into that sport because it sounds very expensive. So great to be on this side watching it and not having to sort of be in it trying to fund your own e-car to participate in a race, perhaps.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. It's pretty easy for us to find it and watch it.
That's good.
So it's on Duke, which is a local TV channel, and it also streams. So we don't have any. It's not behind any paywalls.
Yeah,
which I think is another thing. It's very accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although in saying that, we kind of every now and again we're like we really need to like get there for a weekend and like actually get on the ground and be present at a at some races. And so there's been a few murmurs of potentially having one in Auckland that happened there's some whispers of that a few months ago, and that seems to have gone a bit quiet, and maybe Australia at some stage as well. So we'll we may be having to spend a bit of money shortly.
If there was one in Australia, there'd be no stopping me.
Cool.
I would find a ticket. I would make it there.
Yeah.
I'd just do it.
Yeah. You on board with that, Nath? You're going to go head over to Australia? I mean, epic if they came to Auckland. You'd have to just get up this end of the island. But
yeah.
Wow, that would be so cool.
The nearest ones so far have been over in Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
that's probably the closest.
But flights and accommodation and possibly tickets to the event and all of those things make it probably a challenge. So it's great that you don't have a paywall or other barriers to get access to it from here to be able to watch it. Yeah. And support it.
Yeah.
With the fan boost thing, do you have to have like an account and be a part of that? Is there any cost to being involved with that?
No, it's
No?
just Twitter.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you can just vote through your Twitter account, and then disconnect it because
Yeah.
I'm sure it tracks you like all these things, Bandrew?
Tinfoil hats on. Tinfoil hats
But
on.
yeah. So just Twitter.
Okay. I wanted to ask you something else as well. Well, to share with everyone, I kind of have a connection to your topic in a way, in a sort of possibly related thing, which is to do with motorbike racing. I have family members who've been in motorbike racing, and you mentioned to me before we went live that there was going to be an electric motorbike race.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they suffered some damage.
Yeah. So there was a fire. So there's this series that's supposed to be coming out next year called Moto E,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an electric superbikes series. So yeah, there was a massive fire and they lost everything, all the bikes, all the team gear, everything. It's unfortunate they had everything in the same place, but
Yeah.
so they're not actually sure if it's going to happen now,
Okay.
or they'll obviously have to delay it a wee bit. So yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah.
So the thing behind the podcast is we don't just talk about Formula E.
Mm-hmm.
We also talk about Jaguar, the Jaguar I-Pace, which you can buy, has in series as well. So it's a
Okay.
support series to Formula E,
Okay.
which is cool. And there's Robo Race and a lot of other stuff that
Yeah.
we're finding news for, and we're talking about as well. So
I suppose one of the things we've found is because it's an emerging kind of field, there's lots of speculation and series cropping up, and it's very dynamic. It's changing all the time. Someone will propose something, they'll put out a schedule, and then nothing will come of it. And so at this stage, we've covered mostly Formula E because that's probably how we both got into the electric side of things, and it's been the most consistent and the biggest series so far.
Yeah.
But it's, I think I mentioned earlier, there's going to be new things coming through, and with motorbikes and the robo race stuff as well. So yeah, we'll just keep on getting excited about whatever comes out.
Yeah.
The robo race is quite interesting. It's a lot of different plans at the moment. They're not quite sure what they're doing, I don't think, but it's AI cars racing. So there's no driver. There's no driver.
Wow.
And I think there was a university challenge of who could be the fastest. Obviously, a lot of it's programming.
Yeah.
But yeah. So go and check that out if you're interested.
Yeah, some
cool.
crazy stuff happening.
Yeah. And that's incredible to keep up with that, and I'm looking forward to hearing about it through your, having the insight through you guys, because I don't know enough about it, so I look forward to listening to you guys talk about it. Anthony in the chat said electric bikes are super torque. I drove a Zero here in the States and it about ripped itself out of my hands.
Well,
yeah, I guess it's the same concept as there's no lag in electric cars.
Yeah.
It's you put your foot down and there's nothing spinning, there's nothing needing to happen before you get the power down. So you see, the newest Lamborghini losing to a Tesla. It's just, and it would be the same with motorbikes as well, I'm sure. Yeah, it's going to be. I think there's also a class, the Isle of Man TT for Zero.
Wow.
Zero bikes now as well. I don't think they're quite at the level of the top end ones, but I'd say it would only be a matter of time.
Yeah. Watch the space, basically. I mean, things are going to change now and going forward. That's amazing. Is there anyone in the e-racing space that you do want to connect with and you haven't connected with yet?
Oh, Mitch Evans.
True. Mitch Evans.
That's the pinnacle. Get Mitch Evans on a podcast.
Yeah. If we could interview Mitch Evans.
Yeah.
Or I just think I'd be happy to talk to anyone from the Formula One paddock as well as Formula E. But
Yeah.
I think Mitch Evans would be the pinnacle. Yeah.
And like I suppose in reality, we've had such amazing guests coming on who are so knowledgeable and so connected into Formula E. So anyone from that or closer, whether it's drivers, whether it's a guy in the pits who's plugging stuff in and sweeping the floor, even everyone's got a different story and a different take on things. So
yeah. Also, Dilbag Gill from Mahindra. He's absolute character. Pascal Verline from Mahindra, Jerome D'Ambrosio, any of those guys. I think they're one of the teams that really they do a lot of social media. They're fun. Cool. They're interesting.
Yeah.
There's quite a few people I would love to chat to.
Yeah. And then on the podcasting side of this journey, is there any other resources or things that you connected with that helped you along the way or have been supportive of your journey?
Apart from yourself, Heather.
You're welcome.
I think the podcast community is just amazing, and sharing stuff and the support. I get a lot more DMs and chat to a lot more podcasters than probably listeners of the show. But anyway, so it's really cool. I think that's been awesome.
I think the challenge with that is that us as other podcasters know how much people like engagement, and so we're keen to do it, whereas it is a little bit hard to draw people out who are just listeners of podcasts as such. I mean, I'm not sure. I think there's a long way to go to building that and making people feel comfortable and having a place where they feel like they can do that. I don't know. But it'd be good. The more people who engage, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And in terms of the New Zealand podcasting thing, awesome to have met you and to be connected to you. And I hope that we can build more connections throughout New Zealand in podcasting and even on your topic and an audience here, and just grow everything. Share the knowledge, share the resources. And, we've got, has anyone in the chat got any questions for Dean and Nath while they're here with us before we wrap up in a little bit? If you could, if they did bring e-racing here to New Zealand, say to Auckland or somewhere, how do you think that a lot of people from here will go? Like, what is the space here in New Zealand around e-racing? Do you know?
I think it's definitely growing, and a big part of that just comes from having the Formula E series broadcast on national TV free of charge.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, although they may not be followers, still kind of get a bit of kind of know about it just from channel surfing and seeing something. And there's plenty of people who go through and they're like, oh, that's weird, and carry on.
Yeah.
But I have been amazed just by talking to people how many people kind of have a knowledge and understanding of it.
Cool.
So I think there's that. I think it also helps having the races. They're generally within a city centre or within a built-up area on the streets. So it's not you can kind of, if something's happening, stumble across it. It's not so much that it's happening at a motorsport park in the middle of nowhere, and so it's only those people in the know there that are going to actually go to something.
Formula E's thing is bringing it to the people, and some of these cities, people would open their window, look down at the track, and go, "Oh, that's happening today." So, but I really, I think it's
potential there.
I think it's gonna in answering Tim's question, how big do you expect Formula E to get? I think once season 6 and 7 kick off, because it's only it's only been around for 5 years. I would expect it to be maybe half the size of Formula 1 in a few years.
Okay.
I would say that because of Mercedes, because of Porsche, Audi, and Jaguar Land Rover is a massive company as well, I would expect it to be getting up there.
Yeah.
You do already see quite a few Formula One drivers, although, these drivers are don't have a seat in Formula One. I do expect there to be some crossover soon.
Okay.
And so they will be going between the two series.
Well, there already is really, in a way, with older drivers.
Yeah.
Who are, instead of retiring, there's been a few drivers come over from Formula One to Formula E,
Okay.
and back and forth, and a few drivers who are, figuring out which discipline they're going to go in. So it's, I think seeing that now in season 5, we would have never expected that in the earlier seasons. It's interesting looking at the progression so far, just to see in the next couple of seasons where we'll get to.
Yeah.
And Bandrew, have you ever driven an electric vehicle? No, I've been in a Nissan Leaf. It was interesting. They don't look the best, but they go pretty well.
Yeah. That's the exact same for me. Just as a passenger in a non-performance electric vehicle, just a little around town car, and that's impressive enough.
Yeah, I've seen a Nissan Leaf. I haven't ever been in one, but I've watched them plug it in and charge it. And the people who owned it were like telling me about the battery and how that works. And I'm like, I kind of have a little bit of an insider for how that works just because of how I live. But there's another question there from Bandrew. Do you think Elon Musk played a part in Formula E because of Tesla?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And I think mainly because we haven't seen a Tesla team, and I don't think we will, because I think in many ways what Tesla's doing is somewhat a step removed from Formula E. They're kind of doing their own thing as a disruptor of the industry and a new kid. They're doing their own thing and doing it amazingly and doing it well. In many ways, they don't need Formula E to test their technologies to get their name out there.
Okay.
One thing with Tesla is they're a tech firm.
Yeah.
They're not actually a car maker. So they're a tech firm that makes cars as opposed to a car company.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, and they don't need the press.
Yeah, it would be awesome to see them though. Like that'd be great. But I think they're doing an awesome job trying to make affordable electric cars for the masses, essentially, and bringing the price down. If they could focus on that, and so that it makes it achievable for the rest of us, then that'd be great.
It would be good. I think that's an important distinction to make between about them being tech and not an actual car company as such, or focused just on that. And before I get to the question about how many kilometers is a normal race, we talked earlier about how the length of a race is 45 minutes. It sounds like it's an endurance race, really. Like it's about making sure that you do all the right things to get through the race and get to the end.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Power management is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so there's that nerdy side of which really attracts people to it.
Yeah.
So you can't just go flat out. You actually have to manage the race. And instead of managing tires, you're managing the battery consumption. So it's a wee bit different. And normally the racetracks are around 2 kilometers.
Okay.
And it's 45 minutes. So it depends on, but these cars are going quick, I think the max speed's around 220 kilometers.
Wow.
And it's a street track, remember?
Yeah.
So margin for error, again, you'll be in the wall.
Yeah.
Can I ask another question then? What do you hear on the race? Like, they're electric vehicles, so what is the noise?
What does an electric vehicle sound like?
Going fast. To be honest, it's actually quite rattly.
Is it? Okay.
Just because you're racing on street tracks, so it's not always such a nice smooth surface. So occasionally there's bits of bumps and things. But you've got a high pitched whine, and at those speeds, tires are still making quite a bit of noise as well.
Okay.
So I don't know, it probably sounds a bit strange if you're used to normal motorsport and roaring and grunting, just to have something which is a bit more, electronic.
I thought I would
get
ask.
used to it.
Yeah, you would. And I thought I would ask, since your other episode on Either and Either is on audio, but also it's something interesting to consider because like the Nissan Leaf and those other electric vehicles, they are quiet when they're not racing. Like you don't know that they've been turned on, and there's a whole safety hazard thing around that, making sure that everything is definitely clear before you move out because you could run someone over. Yeah, David said the Tesla Model S P100D is the greatest muscle car that America has ever produced, which is a quote by James May, apparently.
It's a very quick car. Yeah, it's it's ridiculously fast. It's not even close with McLarens and other things. So yeah, I'll agree with you, David.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think Anthony agrees too. That car is fast. Got to drive one on ludicrous mode.
Right. Yeah. So there is a mode I read about that you can only. It's a special. Hey, this kind of shouldn't be pressed, but if you're going to, okay.
Okay.
And I don't think you can do it for long because just the heat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is all very interesting. The whole space is very interesting on where it's going to go. It's a wait and see. It's be a part of it. It's vote for Mitch Evans on the fan boost thing and sign a poll, create a poll to get him to talk to Dean and Nath on their podcast. But yeah, I want to just share a couple of ways that people can discover you because here, yay, I've got you both together. Anyway, there's Regen. Is it Regen Racing on Twitter? Did I get that right? Or was it Regen E-Racing on Twitter?
No, it's just Regen Racing on Twitter.
Yeah. Either or neither is the other one for your other podcast is there. And you can chime in with what the questions are. What would you prefer, either one or the other? You've got a Facebook page for both of them, Regen Racing Pod. I think I just had to search up Either or Neither podcast to find that Facebook page. You're on Instagram also for both of those. You've got websites for both of them, regenracingpodcast.com, eitherorneither.com. You can search Regen E-Racing Podcast, I think is on YouTube. And you've got a Patreon for Regen Racing.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
All of the things.
The best way to support us, I guess, is just tell someone about Formula E. And
listen to the podcast.
Listen to the podcast as well. But I think when the amount of people watching and listening to Formula E grows, I think we'll just grow organically as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Engage in those conversations with you. And what podcast platforms is it on?
It's everywhere. It's on TuneIn, it's on Stitcher, it's on
Apple Podcasts.
Everywhere. It's all over the internet. All over.
And you were mentioning how before that was easy to do through the host that you have, Transistor FM, which is amazing. So very cool. Thank you to everyone who came by the live chat today. Everywhere, trademark.
Maybe not, but most places.
Yeah. This was a super fun chat. I really enjoyed it and getting to learn more about what you are passionate about, and thank you for sharing that with us. Tim said he's probably going to check this thing out, especially because of you guys. So thank you. I think that was amazing to have you on and share that because, share the awareness. Let more people know about it. Thank you so much for being here, fellow Kiwi podcasters. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Catch you later, guys.